Hi and Assalamualaikum. I'm back to Professor Dr. Rosli. We are from Group 3, Databaserunner are going to present our case study. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Nurul Ain Hamiza binti Muhammad Halim and my number matric is 273658. I'm going to present about the context diagram. For the sales order system, there are two external entities, which is reseller and also delivery agent. For the reseller gonna send a purchase data to the sales order system to process, and sales order system will generate a delivery data to the delivery agent. Next is about the context diagram for cash receipt system. We spot there are three external entities, which is reseller, bank and also general manager. Reseller are going to make the payment to the cash receipt system, and they're gonna process and produce a deposit data and send it to the bank, and also send cash receipt data to the general manager.
Assalamualaikum and a very good day I bid to Dr. Rosli. My name is Nur Ani Shahirah binti Aziz. My matric number is 273656. I will present about the logical data flow diagram. Logical data flow diagrams tell the processes happen in a system. As for the first one, I will present about the sales order system. There are 5 main processes in sales order system. The process starts when reseller emails the purchase order. After receiving the order, the internal entities will review and authorize the data, which will happen in process number 2. All the order details will be transformed to sales order form and will be printed in 2 copies. The first sales order copies is sent for the purpose to verify the current inventory balances, which happen in process number 3. The second sales order copy is sent to generate shipping order in process number 4. Delivery notes from process number 4 will be used to update the inventory file in the last process, as well as will be sent to the delivery agent. Next, I will explain about the logical data flow diagram of cash receipt system. There are 6 main processes in the system. The first process is to enter the delivery detail. Then, the sales invoice from process number 1 will be mailed to the reseller, filed to the issue sales invoice file, and will be processed in process number 2 for recording purposes. Next, upon receiving payment from reseller, the mail is opened and batch total is prepared in process number 3. Batch total and compiled checks from process number 3 are forwarded for verifying and bookkeeping purposes in process number 4. Then, the cash collection is processed and verified in process number 5, and sales summary report will be forwarded to the general manager. Checks are used to prepare the cash deposit slip, and both check and deposit slip will be sent to the bank. Lastly, the deposit slip will be kept in a file.
Assalamualaikum to Dr. Rosli. My name is Hani Sofia binti Kamarul Zaman with matric number 273734. I am a part of Databaserunner team of Group A. Today, I am going to explain about sales order system flowchart in SESB Sdn Bhd. Based on the flowchart, we can know that sales order system in SESB Sdn Bhd is a manual operation. We also know that there are 4 internal entities that are going to process the information in sales order system based on the flowchart. These 4 internal entities are sales officer, store executive, store employee, and accounts unit. The sales order system in SESB Sdn Bhd are initiated when the reseller sends the purchase order copy to the sales officer. The sales officer will review and authorize the reseller order and then produce 2 copies of sales order. The first copy of sales order will be sent to store executive, while the second sale order copy with the purchase order copy will be filed. After the store executive receives the sales order copy from the sales officer, he will verify the current inventory balances and then produce verified sales order copy. The verified sales order copy will be sent to the store employees for them to generate shipping orders. The store employees will also produce 2 copies of delivery notes, which will be given to delivery agent with verified sales order copy. The first copy of delivery note that are initiated by the delivery agent will be given by the store employee to the store executive for him to update the inventory cards. The store executive also will sign the delivery note and send the delivery note to the accounts unit. The annotated and signed delivery note from the store executive will be used by the accounts unit for recording purposes.
I'm going to explain about cash receipt system flowchart. Okay, first starting from the account officer or Shima. Shima received a delivery note that had been signed by the sales officer, and then she key in the detail into the customer account in the accounting software. After that, accounting software will automatically record the transaction into the sales journal and update on the general ledger master file and also AR ledger. After saving the transaction, the sales invoice are printed into two copies. One will be mailed to the reseller and another one will be clipped with the delivery note have been signed before and filed into the temporary file issue sales invoice file. For process payment, the reseller can make two types of process payment. One is postal check and the second one is online transfer. For postal check, it will be received by the Sandra, and after that Sandra will set aside the check, open the mail check and summarize the number check and total in the batch total. After that, it will produce a check that had been compiled and the batch total and forward to the Shima account officer. After Shima receives a check that have been compiled and also the batch total, she can put the total check received with the batch total to know whether the amount are correct. And then the check that have been compiled will be reconciled together with the sales invoice that have been filed temporarily in the issue sale invoice file before. And then the check compiled will be sent to the account officer for deposit, which is a Shaila. Okay, but for sales invoice will be crossed as paid. And then the cross sales invoice will be filed. And before that, I'm going to explain about the payment made by online transfer by reseller. First, Shima will print the customer notification fax and email, and then log in into the accounting software and key in the customer number and note of any payment pending on the customer sales invoice. And then after enter all the payment received, Shima will save cash received transaction, and then the system will automatically update on the customer master file and record on the cash receipt file and also general ledger master file. After that, the system will print and collecting report. Cash collecting report then will be compared with the batch total summary, and both document will be together filed with the sales invoice that have been crossed before. For the payment deposit to the bank, the check compile will be sent to the account officer, which is a Sila for deposit. Sorry doctor, actually this is a B, not A. And then after receive, the check have been compiled. She then fill in pre-printed deposit slip, and deposit slip will be made into 3 copies. 1 copies will be go into the file bank deposit, and the 2 copies together with the check compile will be sent to the bank. I think that's all from me for cash receipt system flowchart.
Our group are going to present about SASB internal controls in purchase order system and cash disbursement system. First, I'm going to explain about the internal control strength of SSB. The internal control strength of SSB in purchase order system and cash disbursement system exists in the form of IT control and physical control. SASB has input data edits as IT control in its accounting system. These input data edits can prevent inaccurate record keeping in SSB. Besides, SASB also has physical control in terms of independent verification procedure. Independent verification procedure are shown when operation employees compare the description and the stated quantity on the vendor's delivery note with the information in the company's purchase order during the receiving process. This independent verification procedure can prevent SSB from receiving incorrect inventories. Lastly, SSB also has segregation of duties as physical controls. Segregation of duties are proven to be assisted When an officer responsible for account payable records does not make the payments to the vendors on behalf of the company, but forwards the payment voucher to the account manager in charge for payment processing to the vendors. This segregation of duties can minimize the risk of fraudulent activities in SSB.
Now I'm going to talk about the weaknesses in the purchase order and also cash disbursement system. The first weaknesses I spot is about the company that are not using computerized system to record the purchase order. We found out that pre-numbered for the purchase order are prepared manually rather than using a system to do the job. Next is about there's no physical inspecting and counting for the number of inventory. The operation employee are simply verify the order by as per delivery note and do not do the physical counting itself. The next weaknesses is about the lack of separation of duty. We spot that operation employee did the job to receive and check the inventory, and they also the one who verify the order by signing the purchase order form and also specifying the receipt in the dates in the purchase order copy. The last weaknesses is about using a same person to handle the accounting record. We spot that Lisa is the one who handle the purchase summary, and she also the one who do the account payable summary and the total cash disbursement for the company. That's all for...
I'm going to explain the risk exposure and internal control weaknesses. First is the company are not using computerized system to record the purchase order, which is really important to use a computerized system because it will not easily to be destroyed unless the person have an access on the system. But if the purchase order prepared manually, it is possible that the paper are being missing and destroyed before it get into the supplier hands. The second one is no physical inspecting and counting number of the inventory are made. As mentioned in the statement that operation employee are not made, just verify the received purchase order as per delivery note without making any counting on the inventory received, which result the inventory received could be an order item and the inventory quantity or quality may not as expected. Okay, the third one is the lack of separation of duties but done by the operation employees. Operation employees have done 3 functions that should be done by one person, which is verify good receive note, receive an inventory, and also have an access of the record, which may result in manipulation of data in the receiving process and inventory being stolen may be undetected. The fourth one is using the same person to handle a few accounting records. Like Lisa have multiple tasks that should be done by her, which is one of it is to receive a purchase invoice, and second is to record the payment, and the third one is to produce a report, which is three tasks are repeatedly done by Lisa, which the risk may occur when Lisa make an error in the recording payment for the invoice and nobody can detect because only Lisa is responsible for the task.
Lastly, for the appropriate internal control to rectify each of the weaknesses, firstly, automated purchases approval should be made to make sure the purchase clerk is alert with what items to be purchased, when and from whom it should be purchased. Next, for the second weakness, independent verification should be made, such as purchase orders should be cross-checked with the amount of supplier's invoice. Other than that, the company also should assign someone to supervise the inventory count process. For the third one, separation of duties needs to be made to safeguard the inventories of the company. The last one also involves the need of separation of duties, as the purchasing activities should be carried out by different individuals to avoid the potential of errors to happen.
Okay, this is for part 2, recommendation to fighting against the cyber crimes. Okay, we have a highlight 5 recommendation. One is by enhancing cyber immunity. Second, invest human resources in the cyber security. The third one, encouraging strong collaboration between private sector and also the public sector. The fourth, awareness campaign, and the last one is to upgrade Jaga My ID service. So this is a 5 recommendation that we will explain today. One of the recommendation is by enhanced cyber immunity. MCMC or any private sector may provide a free application. The idea is come from the NYC Secure, which provided by the New York City government, which launched in 2018. The application are able to scan any threat in smartphone and fix the problem by recommend any step that need to be taken by the user. And one of the benefit of using NYC Secure, which it will protect personal information, means that the user don't need to write their detail in the application in order to use the application, which it will protect their personal information.
Step is by doing a awareness campaign. It's really important to educate the people, especially children and teenagers, about the cybercrime. This is because the young generation is the one who will live with the technology for their life, and they need to expose to the risks that come across with this technology. For example, we can do a short film or video related to cybercrime to spread the awareness to all. The other way is by investing some money in terms of human resource. It's really important to train our staff to respond and recognize the threat that come from the cybercrime. We need to be a step ahead than the criminal in this digital platform. Therefore, by giving our staff train, we can increase their ability to respond to the attack.
Next, another way to combat cybercrime is to encourage a stronger collaboration between the private sector and the public sector. This is needed as the government have limited access to the many private networks operated by the private parties, and the same case also experienced by the private sectors. With collaboration, they can have more access to information to make it easy for them to detect cyber threats available in each market. Government and private sector should collaborate and invest more in making useful invention to combat cyber crimes. This collaboration is proved to be useful as they actually have collaborated to produce a platform called Coordinated Malware Eradication and Remediation Platform, or also known as CMERP. Looking at the effectiveness of this program, the government should continue investing more in collaborating projects with private sectors to develop a stronger protections against any type of cybercrime, to ensure higher security of data and information in Malaysia.
Our group last recommendation on ways of fighting against cybercrime is to upgrade Jaga My ID service. Jaga My ID is a subscription service offered by a private company in Malaysia. RAM Credit Information Sdn Bhd (RAMSI) provides protection against identity theft and credit fraud in the society. Therefore, Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission (MCMC) should provide financial aid to fund RAMSI research and development of Jaga My ID service so that a more secure and advanced Jaga My ID service can be provided to Malaysians. In conclusion, cybercrime cases in the society will be significantly reduced with the use of powerful preventive tools like Jaga My ID service. This is the end of our group presentation. Thank you.